There have been a few studies on this, and it seems to be a universal phenomenon that we lose our creativity as we get older. But it depends on your environment, of course. But generally speaking, that's what happens. Now, that wasn't a problem 25 years ago because we only needed 2% of the population to be creative. But we're coming into a time where everyone will need to be creative. The other problem is children of this decade are less creative than the children of the previous decade, and they are less creative than the generation from the previous decade. Apologies to people in their 20s. Okay? So that means the older you are, the more creative you are, maybe? Okay, here's one study. 155,000 children starting between the ages of 8 to 11, and sample groups were taken over 50 years by Paul Torrance and his team in Canada and the USA. And they found that children's creativity peaked in 1990, and by 2008, when the study's finished, that ability to come up with ideas, generate solutions, lots of them, had dropped significantly. I've been teaching 24 years. I would agree that children are now arriving at kindergarten, year one, with less imagination and less creativity than when I first started teaching. That's my observation in Australia. Maybe not so much in Finland, because you've still had a play culture. Australia lost its play culture about 15 years ago. Okay, but I think you still have a play culture.
Yeah. Children
play, yeah, like unstructured free play. Yeah.
And the daycare. I don't get it. How did you lose that? What do you mean you lost your play culture?
It sounds crazy, doesn't it? It sounds crazy. But we have. Children, I'm speaking generally, are in their bedroom playing Minecraft and Angry Birds. They're not outside playing because what if something bad happens? So we have what you call helicopter parents. Okay? Stay inside, stay in your room, don't go out and play.
We're coming right behind you.
Yeah. Also, children in Australia go to one organised activity after the other if they're not at home. So they go to after-school tuition, then they go to after-school violin, then they go to after-school soccer practice. Then after that they go and do some more maths tuition, then they finally go to bed, then they get up and start again. So there's no time for play. And if there is free time, they will go on their device and be entertained by the entertainment on their device. So this free play, building things, making things, rough and tumble, exploring, that's very much gone.
Okay. How about Legos? Legos are a really big thing here in Finland, but how about in Australia?
Yeah, Legos are not as big as what it used to be. And the thing I've noticed in my role in teaching, and I'm heavily involved in the community as well, is that children now only make what's on the box with their Lego. Whereas 15 years ago, children loved to make their own Lego worlds. Yeah. So follow the instructions, otherwise it's wrong. That kind of attitude.
Well, that's when the fun starts.
Yes, absolutely. So we have lost a lot, which affects the creative thinking abilities of our children. So we've lost a lot, so we have to teach it somehow. After all of my research of the research, I've come to this conclusion because the correlation is too strong to ignore. The decline of unstructured play in Western cultures has caused this decline in creativity. It's very simple, logical connection, but compared to the 1970s, children now spend 50% less time in unstructured outdoor play based on a North American study. And it's the same in Australia. You could easily see that and say that. Yeah. How is your play culture in those formative years? How is that going? Yeah, with your 0 to 10-year-olds especially. The free play, where they make up their own play, where adults don't direct the play. Is that still part of?
When I have my gym classes with my 7 and 8-year-olds, I very often they can make their own. They can say what they want to do, and then I put them in different groups, and they can do what they want. So every lesson, one group is making this kind of.
What
is that? track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are doing it
Obstacles
together.
and-
They are
Yeah.
going to the storage. I help them,
Yes.
but they are deciding what they want, and together
Ah,
they are making it, and then they are teaching the others. So at least we are doing this.
That's fantastic. In Australia, the grown-ups would create the obstacle course or the activity, and the children would have no
I
say.
never did
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Excellent.
They are doing it, and they have much better ideas than I do.
Well done. Thank you for that.
Well,
But in overall, I think that the part of this free play is getting smaller and smaller
Okay.
and smaller. And for example, very young kids have their own devices,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
that's the creativity and the
Yes.
play they have. And I think it has become more important during the last 5 to 10 years. So it's a kind of a new thing. So I would say that it's different for my students that are the oldest. For example, Liisa's and Sinika's students that are the youngest.
Yeah. I think I hear about younger and younger students saying that playing, like make-believe and free play, it's like childish and
that you're very bored. Go to play with your iPad because you're bored, but you have to create something yourself
Yeah.
because the good ideas come from boredom.
it's